Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what would be a good first project for the 54 Hudson. And while it does run and drive good, every time I look under here, I get tired of seeing all the oil caked and leaking everywhere. You can see down there it's pretty darn thick. After years of gooped up crud. So, I don't know where all it's coming from. I think it's coming from multiple places. But I'm just going to start by cleaning some of the junk and then maybe tighten some bolts. So here's the piles of crud I scraped off of the car. Obviously some parts were thicker than others. Okay, so I wanted to show you all what's going on with... I'm trying to clean some of this crud off. And maybe cleaning shouldn't be my first step. Maybe I should worry about getting it stopped first, wherever all this oil's coming from. But you can just see how it's caked on everything. I don't know if it's just 50 years worth of caked on goodness, or if it's because it's all leaking still. Like those knuckles, I mean, they're just soaked. But the pan doesn't look all that bad. I don't know, it's bad. I guess I need to retorque those bolts, but it's higher than the pan. I mean, that stuff's higher than the pan. So I don't know. The head, that's a flat head, doesn't look as terrible. But, I mean, you can see it's just caked on everywhere. So, maybe I should just say it's a protective coating and be happy with it. Oh well. I don't know if I can get a power washer. I could run hot water to my power washer, but that'll have to wait till spring. It's December now. So, I don't know. I'd want to spray some degreaser and then try and do a power wash, but... Okay, I've been working a little. It's not really work, it's just scraping dirt, crud, grease. It's about 2 more pounds of mostly grease on joints and knuckles and accumulated from the engine. I've been trying to... I tightened all the oil pan bolts, torqued to spec. Well, spec in quotes. It was 15 to 20. I set my wrench about 17 and tried to do that. Now my transmission has leaks. It has a drip that comes from here. Has a drip that puddles up right there. And then that runs down and drips from there. So I tightened all those bolts just to see what that would do. I don't know. I mean, there's so much oil and crud on all those suspension components. That's not from the downpipe because it's in front of the engine. Or for the most part, well, it's underneath the oil pan, so I suppose it could have just been dripping. The main seal on the front drips, and I suppose if it leaked bad, it could cause all that. Well, I don't know. But then that doesn't really explain this side being so caked everywhere up under there. So I don't know. Well, the first time I went to do an oil change, it wasn't knocking or anything. I had driven it home 120 miles and maybe put another couple hundred, maybe just another 100 on it, tooling around here. But it, what would you say? So it's a 7-quart pan, and I'd be surprised if there were 2 quarts that I got out of it. So I put 7 back in it. I ran 32 ounces of the Marvel Mystery Oil in it. I think that's still in there. I've put 500 or 600 miles on it since then, and it's I'm not quite for sure where it's at on the dipstick. I think it's low, or it's right on. We'll see. Get my light. Guess we'll find out together. A little hard for me to reach when it's jacked up like this. So it's in the range, but I think when it was at 7 quarts, it was a ½ inch above that or more. So we'll see. It'd just be nice to get it cleaned up. It's not. I'm afraid though, as I clean it up, I'm gonna uncover another problem and that I wasn't prepared for. So I don't know. Okay, so once again I decided last nice day before it gets cold. There's an inch of snow on the ground. This morning it's 120 and it's probably 38 degrees. So here's what I'm trying. And I don't know. I guess I could care less whether the rest of it gets cleaned up. I need to try and I sprayed it. Then I'll hose it. I'm not too nuts about hosing it with the electrical stuff, and I'll cover what I can, and we'll see. But like I said, since I tightened up all those bolts, we'll see if that stops the leaks or at least helps to address it. So what I ended up doing was spraying the gunk engine degreaser on it and then using a hose to spray it off. I don't know what I was expecting, but it looks better, but it's not really noticeable as far as getting it on video or something like that. So here's a few extra pictures, and I'll talk to you all later.